Okay, so I added a tail on there, so I just thought I'm not gonna make a new video just for the tail, but yeah, it's a platypus, right? And that was concept here, the tail. I just didn't draw it in the front view, but on the side view, I did have the tail, and there's a platypus tail as my reference. So I'm gonna pull this up a little bit as well as I'm start sculpting on this character, so I can drop this down just man, get it where it's not so intrusive, like 3% like that. It's still super transparent. All right, yeah, let's go for it. So I made a copy, so you clone it. It makes another copy, and the names are horrible. So far, I haven't really taken the time to name anything. So you'll want to go into Subtool, and you want to rename these things as you go. So we'll go and name him Platypus 01, or maybe I can go A_01. They gave the naming palettes a little better lately, and now I have that. There I have this one here as well, which was the same. So these two are identical in stages. I had made a copy of them here. I started just a head by itself, which is also not a bad idea. I might come back to that. And yeah, I will go back to the head. So there's so I'll go in here to this first one. I'm going to rename this one Platypus underscore spheres, ZSpheres, or ZSpheres 01, right? And then I go to the next one, and for this one, hit A on the keyboard is my lowest poly version. You see it's got pretty horrible edge loops, right? Let's get rid of that again. But yeah, like I don't know how this would have gotten off center with the symmetry tool on, but ZBrush does get off center quite a bit. But yeah, it's all quads at least. So can't complain too much. Or can we? And if we wanted to add a little bit to this, I could go down here, turn preview off or on and off right here. I could go to density from 1 to 2, and then I preview it. You'll see if I turn polyframe, Shift F right here, off and back on again, you'll see now I have one more density of polygons to play with. So I went up to 2, but I left the Dynamesh to 0. I don't want a bunch of polygons yet. And I'll show you why. When you sculpt, you want the lowest subdivision to play with for sure as you're doing this. So once I've done that, I can go up here and to the top of the tool palette. And again, I apologize for Pixelogic for this horrible quantity of menus just to do some simple sculpting. But it's getting better. Make Polymesh 3D, or there's make adaptive skin. Let's see. It's make adaptive skin in the adaptive skin at towards the very bottom here. Click make adaptive skin, and it does make a copy of it. There it is. So now it's Platypus A01, Platypus A01 skin, Platypus A01. So it just made the skin one over here. So if I go to that and I go to adaptive skin, it is now gone. If I go back here, you'll see adaptive skin has reappeared. So once it switches, it makes the adaptive skin in the palette. It doesn't tell you. It automatically names it skin underscore, which, all right, that's kind of useful. And you'll see here now I have polypaint, UV map, whereas over here I have rigging though, and adaptive skin topology. There's some other tools in here, but the skin one now has a regular polygon um, tools, and the adaptive skin, I believe, is gone, if I'm not mistaken. And there's no more ZSpheres, so I can go down to low subdivision still. I can go up to subdivisions, D, Shift D, that's under geometry. Right here, this little slider, up and down. In my custom UI, I have the divider, I have the double-sided, the flip normals, the SMTs all right there. All right, we got some serious gaming going on in this house, so we might have some fun background noise. Cool. All right, and yeah, you see it's not symmetrical. Its symmetry's off somehow. I have moved topological, so let's see if I turn symmetry off for just a minute and go in here and grab this. I can maybe try and smooth it out and then go back to symmetry, but I'll go back. I have this symmetry smart resim tools, mirror and weld up here, delete hidden, welding points, loading, saving, delete higher. If I turn off symmetry and mask one side like this, underneath the geometry tool, there should be a bunch of deformation tools here. Here's Smart Resim. So I've hit Smart Resim one time. It's going to make the other side symmetrical. If I go up to subdivision and hit it again, you see it's going to make it symmetrical. So again, that's probably a little more advanced for this first video, but everything should be pretty. Yeah, see, it's still off just a little bit right there. Dang it. So if I go in here and mask all the way to the edge, or maybe I try the other side. There the mask, hold control and drag, go across the side, smart resim, go up one, smart resim, or just resim. The struggle is real. All right, let's just go for it. All right, so D, and let's start using our clay buildup tools. So over here we have clay buildup. If I hover over the top, Control B is my shortcuts. Move topological, Control V. And clay is Control C, and standards Control T. So I'm going to start with Control B with the clay buildups, and I'm going to come in here. Shift F turns the wireframe off and on. I'm going to leave it off right now, and that clay is not really my favorite color. There's monster clay. Yay, I love monster clay. And I can go in here and start building up the clay, and you see it's overlapping, so I'll hold down Shift, maybe a little bit like that, and get it where it's not overlapping. Do Control V, go to my Move Topological brush, get a nice big brush, and just going to kind of block in what you would hope ZSpheres would do a little more of, which is like actually fill in some volumetric shapes, so at least a tiny bit close. So you kind of do this yourself, and Shift smooth it out as I move, Shift, and bulge it out. You can also use the inflate brush, have it over here. Mine's Control N, and whoops. Looks like yeah. Sometimes shortcut keys in ZBrush don't work. I don't know why, but yeah, Control B and Control V should build up. There we go. Shift to smooth out if anything gets overlapping. Don't let your polygons collapse in on themselves early on. Control D will subdivide one more time. So just so you know again where that is under geometry. Right now I have two subdivision levels. I go up and down with D and Shift D. So D goes up, Shift D goes back down again. If I want to add more subdivisions, which is divide right here, you see the hover over is Control D. So I hit Control D, and now I really have some polygons to play around with, and I can go in here and I can turn off the see-through mode a little, and I can go in here and start giving them some actual anatomy. So this is maybe another Control D, and then smooth. Smooth, by the way, I've said in my other videos, is just obnoxiously at 100%. It just destroys. It should be like a melt and destroy. Should be the name of that brush, but you have to go way down to get it even remotely usable. And yeah, even at 20 something percent, see it's still, like I said, almost all the settings in ZBrush happen between 0 and 25-30%. All the higher ones are just so strong that they're not really useful in my opinion. There we go. And just going to kind of roughen the belly, give them the crotch. I was doing a little bit of anatomy. You don't have to make them all with Ken dolls, like zero anatomy, right? We can actually, we're all adults here. Maybe I'll get this video banned for giving him male anatomy. I don't know. And Shift to smooth out. Shift again at 15%, still too strong. Maybe down like around 10. So I'm building up. And I'm just doing my regular anatomy thing, so I'll go in here to the back of the head and give him some traps, trapezius, lumbar, scapula, the deltoid, Shift to smooth out a little bit. And down to the tail. There we go. And if I want to flatten this tail out, I have the other tools here. I have H-polish and trim dynamic. So trim dynamic is going to be really useful here. And If you're doing major forms, I go shifty all the way on the lowest one, and I kind of use the move topological brush, the bracket key up and down, and like that. And for this one, for the platypus tail, which they're akin to the otter, or the otter's akin to the platypus, however you want to look at it. There we go. I'm just kind of smoothing that down and go to a finer point here with my bracket key, grab the little tip of the tail, try to keep it from looking too much like a beaver tail, and get that, grab that tip and pull that out a little bit. There we go. And then bracket key up, and I can kind of just subtly adjust at the lowest subdivision all this stuff. So a lot of the early stages of this is using the move topological and move brush and oops, and just getting the basic core shapes where you want them. That's really important at this stage. Turn off the floor. That grid out of the way, go back and divide a few more times, go back to my regular clay buildup brush and give them a butt. Smooth it out a little in front here. I was working on, and we'll get to the shoes here eventually. Come up here to the face, and shortcut for the space bar helps a lot too if the bracket keys going back and forth is too slow for you. Um, so already I have a start on a character here that I can keep going on. So we'll save that for the next set of videos.